That means when you're burping, it's energy. Like I'm releasing energy.
Okay,
All the good vibes.
good. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Camu Talks, where we talk about healing and wellness and literally every single thing in between. It's January. It's freaking cold outside. It's probably minus whatever, but nothing will stop us from filming this episode. The last bit of 2024 was a bit of a slow burn for the Camu Talks for multiple reasons, but we are back. We are thriving. And I'm glad that I took that break because I was able to reflect and reassess and think about the future of the Camu Talks, which I feel like this year, Krista, I feel like it's more of a transformative year.
Love it.
Ending of cycles. Like I very much feel that. And what better way to start the Camu Talks 2025 with none other my beautiful amazing magical friend Krista Hudak, also known as the Divine Medical Medium. She was here in the beginning of the Camu Talks. We did episode 2 together, and I know you're going to be a regular because she's very knowledgeable. She has a lot to share to the general public, and we love everything holistic wellness. So welcome back. The background, Krista has helped women and has helped herself go through from suffering to now feeling empowered. Her focus is on energetic medicine as well as energetic medicine for the mind, the body, and also your soul's evolution. Like that's amazing. Her motto is change your energy and transform your life. Welcome. Krista, what are you feeling about 2025?
I feel like the energy and what the year is kind of asking us to do is like show up or not. Like choose yourself.
Yes. It's like a pivot.
Take the leap or not.
Are you going to pivot or not?
Right? Like are you going to do the thing? Are you going to trust yourself like we talked about? Get clear on your desires and then just act on them, right? There's like no time to be able to be like wishy-washy. It's like you have a desire,
Go
do it or don't do it.
I was watching this astrologer. I don't know if you follow some astrologers, but 2025, if you add it, 2025 equates to 9. And in numerology, it means the end of cycles. So
Yeah.
it's a very transformative year. I can feel it.
And I think people have the opportunity. We're always given the opportunity, right? So opportunities are presented to us, and then we have the choice to either keep doing the same thing or to choose something different. And I know in this space and in this time, a lot of people don't end up choosing something different because of the fear and lack of safety, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? It's just that people are uncertain. It's the unknown, but oftentimes it's like about trusting yourself more to be able to do what you feel is right, even though it's still scary and uncertain. So, and that's what really breaks those cycles energetically. That's what changes the course of like timelines and your life if you're doing something differently. It's very powerful.
I feel like, and that's why I'm so excited about this topic, because in order for you to change your life, there has to be some sort of catalyst to create a domino effect. And I'm so glad we're talking about this because the past few months I've been so interested about living toxic free, and it's not as easy as people think because it's so minute, it's so part of our lives. And I don't know, like the general public should know about, I don't know if a lot of people know, like the government should tell us, or do we just need education around that piece?
I think it's multiple things, but I really feel that people don't know just because we weren't taught. This is what we weren't taught in school. And it's part of like a bigger collective movement in that sense. But the best thing that people can do is learn, get knowledge, be conscious, make better choices bit by bit, and really advocate for their own health. Because a lot of the time, and my story was the same, we go to the doctor, with a symptom, especially women, and you're told you're fine, your blood work looks fine, but inside you're saying, I'm not fine. I'm not fine.
Like your body just knows.
Yeah, our body knows that our bodies are talking to us, they're communicating to us, and then we're kind of shut down with our practitioners. And they're well-intentioned practitioners, but they just don't have the education and being able to support us in the way as us women need and what they understand. So it is so important for us to continue to advocate, because I was a young girl when I started to have like chronic exhaustion and fatigue, where decades later, I only found my answers and been able to heal and help myself because I didn't stop. I didn't stop advocating and stop looking for the root causes of disease, which I'm so passionate about.
I feel like the public deserve to know this. Like the public deserves to know the root causes of their diseases. And it's not as common as like now integrative health is coming in. What do you call that?
Integrative functional
That's
medicine.
right. Like that's something
More looking at the body holistically, which just traditional Western medical doctors weren't trained in. It's not like they don't have the best intention. It's just they were taught a very like medical pharmaceutical way to be able to treat the body, opposed to holistic herbs, food, you know, the earth, nature, you know, and energetics. It's just very different. And I think people are starting to wake up and wanting a different approach. They just don't always know what that looks like, or it can cost a lot of money and time to be able to get to those avenues. So that's where I want to bridge the gap and give people the knowledge and solutions, because it took me years to discover it myself, and it doesn't have to be that way.
So did you see as practitioner for this? Like, how did you start your journey?
So I just, you know, I was tired most of my life. I had different symptoms most of my life, but it didn't get worse until I became a mom. And I really had to address it. Like, it really hit me head on, because I couldn't just nap when I wanted to or lay down when I needed to. It really made me look at the truth of how I felt in my day-to-day. So I did start to seek out different practitioners, but a lot of the time I was being greenwashed too. Like, certain practitioners would give me an adrenal pill or try this supplement, but nothing was moving the needle with my health until I finally started to work with someone who really heard me, who really understood me, really listened to me. And I was able to get the proper, you know, medicine and herbs and support and products that I needed to be able to really address the root causes on a deeper cellular level and support my body the way that it was like desperately seeking. So I'm so grateful.
And did you had to do some trauma work too along the lines of that?
Oh, that's ongoing.
Later on. It's still ongoing.
That's ongoing. I think that's the trauma piece is, it can be complex, but really processing your emotions, a lot of somatic work, being able to deeply connect with my body actually has changed a lot for me in terms of connecting to myself and how I feel on that energetic level. But that's ongoing. I think that's like
it's like a never ending journey. I mean, you probably feel like being in a better space now than where you were before, right?
Yeah.
So why do we think we're seeing an incline of disease?
Yeah, and it's scary because we are seeing increase, I think, from anywhere from childhood to an older adult, but especially in the case of 30-year-olds, higher stress, mental health, especially cancer rates are skyrocketing.
At 30.
It's supposed to be, 1 in 2 now being diagnosed with cancer. And it is the reality. I feel like this is what I'm hearing within close friend groups and family groups, that you're seeing it more and more. And it's just like, oh my God, it doesn't have to be this way. And even with our younger population, and really how I see it, in my opinion. And as we get into this topic, I will say that things that I do talk about and things that I do discuss are meant for educational purposes.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not medical advice, or meant to treat, diagnose, or intended for self-diagnosis, but it's just purely information, in my opinion, in my experience. But what is happening is we are born into a toxic world. And so it starts in utero with our moms, right? If we're living in this toxic world, and we have babies that we're passing this on to, the toxic load, our toxic load and traumas as well. And then as we grow up in the world, our toxin burden comes from multiple places, which we'll get into a little bit deeper, but our environment, our food, our water, our products.
It's literally everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's crazy.
Trust me, I have tried to avoid it all, and it is not possible. It's not possible. So it's really important to start to become more conscious, aware, and then also know how to properly detox our body, because as our toxic load grows, what happens is we might start to get those subtle symptoms, right? The headache,
the fatigue,
the brain fog, the fatigue, the anxiety, and they start just to become, we normalize them or deal with them or just push them aside. But then sometimes our body gets a little bit louder, right? And the aches and pains get stronger. Maybe our headaches turn into migraines, or it comes to the point where we are diagnosed with autoimmune disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, cancers. And this is when like our toxic load is becoming so high because it's taken years to develop that it's just presenting itself as these symptoms, as these diagnoses, and we're treating them, but no one's actually healing from them.
Right. So it's years. That's why it's presenting itself now as and the increase of disease.
And in my opinion, I think the body is inherently meant to heal itself. You know, we know this, right? We get a cut, we get a scrape, it heals itself. Our body's really smart, but and we have organs that will filter and detoxify for us as well, and body systems, but sometimes those become sluggish too, right? So our kidneys need more support, our liver, our gallbladder. And we really weren't, people often say to me, oh, I eat clean. Oh, I eat healthy. But I've tried that, and it's one aspect. Of course, we want to reduce our processed food and we want to eat healthy, but it's not moving the needle the way we think it is with our health, because we're not addressing the toxins at a deeper cellular level to be able to help our body get back into balance.
So that's what we're going to be talking about more today.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
100%. So basically the root causes are these things in our environment that for many years have been a part of our lives, and now they're showing up more.
Yeah, right? And they can definitely be triggered by traumas and emotions and things like that as well.
So you talk about toxic free life, and you briefly mentioned it's really impossible, right? So where do you think we should start? Like give me an example of toxins in, say, our food right now.
I think a big one, if we're talking about food and water, I mean, well, water for one, you know, fluoride, chlorine, heavy metals, forever chemicals, really important to get a water filter. I think it's really underlooked. I know people are trying to focus on their gut health, but if we're taking in unfiltered water all the time, it's really going to have an effect on our gut as well. So filtering our water, some people go as far as doing like their shower heads and things like that, like all water that's essentially being put on our body, but especially our drinking water. And for food, I think the big one with food is mold. We can have mold in our food, such as breads and coffee. So people are more sensitive to mold, as well as glyphosate is a really big one. So that is the chemical, the Roundup that they spray on our crops and our vegetables. It is banned in Europe. So that's why some people go to Europe and they feel like they can eat all this food and it doesn't affect their gut. So sometimes people are actually reacting to the glyphosate, and it's not always like the gluten.
Is it not banned in Canada?
It's not banned, no.
Oh, but it's banned in Europe.
Yeah, it's banned in Europe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know it's definitely not banned in the United States, and a lot of our product is from the United States.
Yeah.
So you will see some labels that say glyphosate free. So some companies test their products, not all. Any processed foods, and the seed oils are a big one too for decreasing inflammation. So when I talk about seed oils, that's canola oil, grapeseed oil, vegetable oil, all these really highly processed oils. And they are found in so many of our foods, but especially frozen foods in the freezer section.
I was really worried about pesticide as the main thing when it comes to food. But do you think the bigger culprit are the things you just mentioned, or are they as equally
I think it's all
dangerous?
It's all part of what can affect us. And I think each person could react differently to these things. But it's all part of the toxins that we find within our body that are kind of on a cellular level, like affecting how our cells are functioning.
And so do you yourself buy organic a lot, or how do you shop?
I try to, but of course we want to be budget friendly, especially if you have families or large families. You can refer to the Dirty Dozen list. I don't know if you've heard of the Dirty Dozen Clean 15.
apples has to be organic,
Yeah.
strawberries, kale. Oh
So
my
I
gosh,
try,
yeah.
or I wash them with baking soda or like a drop of like lemon oil. Because again, I think if we're too hypervigilant, which I was at one point, it's having the opposite effect because we're becoming so stressed out on trying to do everything clean and organic when really we're always going to have this some kind of toxic level that
Yeah.
it's stressing our nervous system out, and we can't heal if we're always in this state of hypervigilance and flight or flight. Our bodies, our nervous system has to be regulated.
I feel like in the modern world now, and that's why there's so much diseases. Because back in the day, there's not
Yeah.
much preservative. There's not much,
Artificial dyes,
right, and
processed foods.
poisonous stuff that we spray our food with. So
Yeah.
so now more than ever, this is a really good topic to talk about. So, I wanted to talk about BPAs and phthalates. Do you use glass at home, or have you stopped using plastic containers?
Yeah, I
All
try
that stuff.
being mindful of
Yeah.
having more glass. I think they say we eat a credit card of plastic. I don't know how often.
We
Like
eat a credit
every
card.
like worth of plastic. Like there's so much plastic within our systems, like
Oh
and that we're
my
taking in our
gosh.
water. There's microplastics in our water as well.
Yeah. So we just recently stopped using bottled water now. We're filtering our water now. Even our containers that we bring to work, it's all glass now.
Yeah.
I don't know what you feel about microwaves. I
I don't
haven't
have a
really.
microwave.
Oh, you don't have a microwave. See?
No, when
Wow.
we I intentionally didn't have a microwave. So we heat all of our food on the stove, but I recently just got non-toxic pans and a non-toxic air fryer and toaster oven because yeah, that to me
I
it's
saw
radiation.
that.
In California, they do say that it's a carcinogenic.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
no, I've seen studies.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind sharing, maybe we'll share some link in this video about those non-toxic equipments for people. So BPA is actually a chemical used to make plastics. So it's in a lot of our equipments at home. Receipts apparently have them. Nail polishes. Sorry, that's phthalates. That's not it. But it's basically anything plastic has BPA in it. Even though it will say BPA free, it has a cousin called BPS and BPF. That's like a modification of BPA. But BPA is also known to create cancer, heart diseases, infertility, brain and prostate gland health, behavior changes in children, and of course blood pressure changes. So those are the main things. So if you have the opportunity to change your stuff at home to BPA free, that's a great start. Glasses are always your best bet. Phthalates. These are endocrine, what is that word?
Disruptors.
Disruptors. The same with BPA, and it can affect multiple organs in your body. Child growth development can be affected, as well as excessive pregnancy. So if you guys see things in your skincare, in your lotion, shampoo that says fragrance, that's how companies hide the phthalates in the ingredients.
Yeah, they can be like thousands of
That's
chemicals and they don't have to disclose it.
It
So
will
I
never
try-
say phthalate. It will say something else.
I will try
Yeah.
to buy even within brands. If so, like my deodorant, for example, a few of the same brand but different scents say fragrance, but one of them doesn't. So then I read labels not just brand to brand, but also within the brand because the labels can differ. Like one can have perfume fragrance in it and one doesn't. One's like more essential oils. So I look at my labels. You have to look at your labels.
Yeah. It's bad for you. I know that. But okay, so SLS, fragrance free. Oh, not fragrance free, fragrance.
And dyes, like even in children's,
Yeah.
like Tylenol, Advil, or toothpaste, like
It's everywhere.
fluorides in our toothpaste.
Yeah.
There's so
Even
much.
things
Our
like
makeup.
parabens, sulfate free.
Yeah.
And I know
formaldehyde in makeup.
That's right.
Yeah. Think about disease. I go back to 5 or so main root causes, which we talked about making sure our nervous system is regulated, because we can't heal in a dysregulated state. So no matter what you're doing, if you are dysregulated, if you are in fight or flight and our body is not in that rest digest, how can it heal?
Right.
So really important to like assess your life, and really being able to come back to like grounding, clearing our energy, even going as far as when I talk about energetic, emotional, like look at like the boundaries we're putting in place, looking at if we're people pleasing, doing stuff for other people, not choosing ourselves. That is a huge overlooked part of our health. And being able to really take care of ourselves, really important. We talked about different toxins, but even more specifically, a root cause is stealth pathogens, bacteria, and parasites. So huge root cause for a lot of us. And they say if you have a pulse, you have a parasite. We're all living with a certain degree of parasites, but it's again when these become overburdened within our body and they are now we're symptomatic, and it could be anything from neurological disorders or symptoms to cardiovascular. The list goes on and on. Autoimmune, they really do cause havoc on our health, and we should be parasite cleansing, in my opinion, at least once a year, if not like 2 times a year, especially after travel, because they're in our environment, they're in our food.
That was my next question.
Raw sand.
How do we get parasite? Like that was my
environment,
it's just everywhere.
sand. If you have pets, they always say you can deworm your pets, but we don't deworm here. And it is actually like in other countries, it is normal. It's just it was never the norm here. So people look at me like I'm crazy, but it's the absolute truth. And the parasite loads, they're kind of the big fish in the sea. So they eat heavy metals, they eat the EMF, they eat the cancer, they eat the yeast. So if we're not getting rid of them first, like we're not really going to be able to tackle the problem. Even cancer patients absolutely should be parasite cleansing to take them, to be able to kill them, excrete them. A big cause. And that's it. They're transient, like they're within our blood cells, so they're all over our body. It's not just in, like, we can do expensive testing and it might not show a parasite, and because they're not just in our gut, they could be in different organs, in our liver, within our brain. They could be, they literally are everywhere. So it's not to frighten people, but it's just to say that how important it is to be able to address this, because it's really causing a lot of health symptoms.
And where does how often should you be doing this parasite cleansing, and what does that look like?
Like I said, probably once a year minimum. Sometimes people do it seasonally. Some people do it with the full moons. I don't think it's something that you should be doing all the time. You're never going to get rid of your parasitic load completely. But I would say at least once a year. And we do it through mainly herbs. Herbs are, being able to use herbs to...
So do you just drink herbs all day for 1 year?
Capsule form. Yeah.
Okay.
Capsules.
So there are certain products out there that helps with that.
Yeah.
So talk to me. We have some products here in front of you that you are using. Tell me how that's been beneficial for you, and just tell me more about that.
Yeah. So what I really like about this program, this brand is Purium, and they have a whole host of products, but this is kind of like the foundational, comprehensive, easy detox program that addresses all the main root causes of health. So it's really important, like I said, to be able to address the toxins. So it does have a parasite cleanse. It's really effective. There's also a binder that I don't have here, but it's fulvic and humic acid. It's called Biomedic, and it acts as a binder to bind toxins and pull them out of our body. As well as when parasites are being killed, they also release toxins. So we want to bind toxins and excrete them. And how we do that is through opening our drainage pathways, making sure we're sweating, making sure we're pooping, making sure we're supporting our lymphatic system. So the parasite cleanse, the binder is actually clinically proven to heal leaky gut within 6 weeks. And most of us do
Of
have
daily
leaking
intake.
guts. Leaking guts, right? Because of the glyphosate and all these toxins and processed foods and inflammatory foods. It's really disrupting the gut lining of our body, so that our lining of our stomach is semi-permeable, and it's not meant to let certain things through. But when it becomes a compromise, bigger proteins and toxins get through those junctions, and then that's when we end up with like achiness, joint pain, brain fog. So a lot of us have leaking guts. So that's clinically proven to repair the gut lining, which is imperative for immune health and our overall function. So those two are really important. And then once you're able to kill, bind, and pull more toxins, our cells now are functioning better. They're able to absorb nutrients. That's why even people, when they clean eat, they're not able to absorb all the stuff
because of all these stuff
and low iron. Parasites eat iron. So what this one product is here is greens, and what I love about them is that they are apple berry flavor, so they don't taste like grass. My kids, my picky 3-year-old is actually drinking them. That bag's almost finished. And it's full of minerals
daily.
and nutrients. And there's no glyphosate. It's tested. There's no citric acid, which you don't want citric acid. That's also preservative, found in a lot of people's greens. And it just floods the body with nutrients, so we're able to actually absorb. Now, the program also has tart cherry juice, which is amazing for an antioxidant.
Ooh, I heard of that.
And natural melatonin for deeper sleep. And I really thought, I was like, there's no way this is going to help me sleep. I am addicted.
You're sleeping like a baby now.
I really do sleep better. And then, which is really cool, this product here, that is 99% bioavailable pure protein. So 5 capsules is 30 grams of protein. So with that, we can add muscle, burn fat. So people that do need to lose weight, it's also really good for that. And I can't ever hit 100 grams of protein that I'm supposed to in a day.
It's impossible.
And it's pure pressed protein. There's no capsule. There's no cellulose around it. It's bioavailable, meaning 99% bioavailable, meaning it's actually getting absorbed, opposed to protein powders and things like that.
Right. And how long are you supposed to take this before? Do you just start to feel better and then you can do whatever you have to do after? Like carry on with your regular clean eating? Or?
Yeah, the program, that's what I love about this. It's all food based. There's no medical ingredients in it, and it's recommended to do it 30 days. So 1 month to the optimal is 90 days. So 3 months to see the best results. And it's not something you have to do all year. It's meant just to support your body, help your body detox naturally, and bring your body back into balance. People have had tremendous results, like feeling better from anywhere from days to weeks to months, and really being able to feel the effects of more energy, decreasing symptoms, whatever kind of symptoms they're experiencing. And we're talking about blood pressure, cholesterol, just overall improving cardiovascular health, neurological health, gut health, immune response, inflammatory response. It's actually clinically proven to reduce CRP levels.
Which is the
inflammatory marker.
Got it.
Hashimoto's, balance hormones. So it's incredible that we're able to do this, because I find people are often given this pill and this supplement and nothing moves the needle, where this is actually transforming people's lives, because it is comprehensive, it's easy to follow, and our body, it takes it well because it's food.
And is this something that you're part of this program, right? So can people go to your website and buy this product? They can. So we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
So we're talking about toxins, so much toxins everywhere. And if we're not addressing the root cause, if there's parasites in our body, we can't. And as much as we want to clean eat, we're not going to go any further. And we've talked about the somatic and the traumatic sort of piece of living a toxic life. Is there any other toxins in our life that we should get rid of as well? Like, I know energetically you spoke about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big one, another one that's overlooked, is how we think and speak to ourselves, right? Like our own mental thoughts, that's also toxic, right? How we see ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we speak to ourselves. a lot of that is the energetics, because how if we have that negative self-talk, or if we have those limiting beliefs, that is how our reality plays out, right? Our reality mirrors our beliefs. So even though there's these physical toxins, it's also important of what our perception is of life and ourself, and that mind piece, I think, is often very overlooked, but that is how the energetics can shift. If we start to shift our mindset and our thoughts and how we think of ourselves, I think that's a really big piece too.
Yeah, it seems like overwhelming for somebody who wants to live a toxin-free life, right? But I feel like you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and
Like
I think
like
there's
small changes here and there.
there's more information at our fingertips than ever before.
Right.
I think it's just being able to hopefully find someone to work with to be able to get on the right path, be clear about your goals, and then yeah. I mean,
so is there anything, Krista, that you think will be beneficial for people that you can help them with?
I'm very passionate about really bringing transformation to people's lives, because I was there for so long where I spent a lot of time and I spent a lot of money and nothing seemed to work. So in my opinion, these products have been transformational for myself and my family and other people. So absolutely being able to support people with their physical bodies with these products, if they're ready to make a change and wanting to invest in themselves, as well as work with them energetically to be able to identify within their life, within their body, what is still hindering them within their life that is maybe keeping them from health or whatever kind of their goals are, is absolutely something that I do as well.
Okay, and tell them your socials. Where can we find you?
So I am on Instagram at Divine Medical Medium, and then I will give you the link absolutely for the resource for the products, or people can message me directly.
Perfect.
You know what? It's really easy to get overwhelmed, like you said, and then completely shut down and do nothing because it's too overwhelming. So people just paralyzed and they don't do anything. But we can go back to the basics. We can go to bed on time and get sleep. Like, you know, women need more sleep than men, like 8 to 9 hours. So you don't need to binge Netflix before we go to bed, even though we want to. Breathe, take a few minutes out of our day and just do some deep breathing, or like just sit with ourselves even for a few minutes. A lot of that's hard for people, just to sit. They're busy, distracting themselves. Being able just to come back to ourselves, breathe, eat nutrient dense food, and just even practice gratitude. That goes such a long way too, because it's like if we're constantly chasing or wanting or in lack, we're always going to be in that state. So being able to come back to gratitude and the abundance of that we have now, to feel fulfilled within that, and then to go for more what we desire. I think it can be simplified, but it also comes down to people being more disciplined. But it's really about a choice of, you know,
it's a bigger picture.
What are your goals? Priority? What
are
people making as a priority?
And I feel like for me too, this year is like, guys, you have to be compassionate with yourselves. Like, I have all these to-do lists, and sometimes I was talking to my therapist about this. Sometimes I can't fulfill all those things in my work list. But don't judge yourself. Be compassionate. You can prioritize, do what you have to do today, and then you can just kind of do stuff for the next day, right? Like, it's not like, be compassionate for yourself. Try your best, of course, but also keep in mind that you're also human. Take your time, and there are a lot of things to learn. It's not a one-day journey.
That's what my husband always says. One thing a day, and I'm like, okay. Especially we're so busy, but I try to just do like one thing a day that I say, and it's so important to be intentional, right? If I have this intention, I set my intention before bed, because if I just get up and I have no intention, I don't do anything. Right. So setting that intention, and my intention within those intentions is like, if I get one thing of these done, then I'm productive.
Exactly. And you feel good. Like, I feel like small incremental changes beats like this big overwhelming challenge you set up for yourself. Because I've seen even myself, like, I set an intention and it's so big that I feel overwhelmed and I get burnt out. Just set little small goals for yourself.
Progress over perfection.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
It's baby steps.
Yes. So thank you, Krista, for being here.
Thank you.
If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to share anything down in the comment below, please, if there's anything at home that you do that creates a toxin-free life, please do share. If we haven't mentioned anything, we for sure love to know more things about this. That way we can share it to the general public. So again, well, thank you for watching the Camu Talks. We will have more information down below. And I wanted to do a shout out for my friend who created this mug. She's our sponsor of the day. Cheers. Crafty Kathy Designs from Walnut Creek, California. Thank you for supporting Camu Talks. I love you dearly. And as usual, wishing you guys love and light. And have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye.